Hey there, Julian of JulianCanandGrow.com, and today I wanted to speak with you about the symbolic representation of what it means to be overweight from a holistic health practitioner's point of view, as well as the Chinese medicinal perspective behind it. The point of making this video is not to criticize or place judgment upon anybody, but more so to bring about a deeper sense of self-awareness within the community of the planet that we live on, with the intention of spreading a deeper sense of healing and awareness for the collective whole. So being overweight is often a product of oversensitivity. It can represent fear and illustrates a need for protection. This fear usually stems from a hidden anger and a resistance to forgive those who hurt them. It can also represent running away from feelings and not confronting what needs to be resolved. And lastly, it's most associated with insecurity, self-rejection, low sense of self-worth, and a lack of self-love. So depending on where you accumulate weight within your body, there's different implications behind that. So I'm going to speak about each one. If you accumulate weight within the arms, there's implication that you're being denied love at a certain point in your life. This would make sense because we use the arms to hug people as well as to hold them close when we want to be intimate or express intimacy. And by accumulating weight within the arms, the body's natural intelligence is used in that way to protect that person from experiencing that trauma again. Unfortunately, being overweight has its own negative health consequences, and if somebody is never able to heal that, they're never really able to be that close to people or that vulnerable. So if somebody is going to accumulate weight within their belly, oftentimes it's very symbolic that they were denied nourishment at a certain point. So there's this sense of like wanting to grab for more and more and more to make sure that they're never not nourished again. Next spot I'm going to speak about is the hips. Oftentimes there's these like kind of pudgy lumps within the hips if somebody who's very overweight, or it could just accumulate in this one particular area, and that's usually representative of resistance towards forgiving your parents. The last place I'm going to speak about is the thighs. So if somebody accumulates weight within the thighs, there is lots of childhood anger, and usually resentment towards particularly the father. So the first pattern I'm going to speak about is overeating, and oftentimes in Chinese medicine they particularly speak about overeating greasy, heavy, spicy foods and or alcohol. And so this results in an excess amount of physical substance for the spleen to transform and assimilate into nutrients. The nature of these foods are very heavy, turbid, and damp, which is going to lead to an increase in fluid for the body to assimilate. And because there's an excess amount of it, there tends to be a sense of fluid accumulation. So because the spleen cannot handle everything it is being given, the stomach takes up the extra slack by becoming hyperactive, which is going to lead to things like bad breath or also an overactive appetite. So this perpetually makes a person hungrier, and they keep acting out the same self-destructive cycle. Another thing that a lot of people do who overeat is they belch a lot, and belching is a product in Chinese medicine of counterflow stomach qi. So instead of moving downwards, the correct direction of qi to be moving, if we're talking about the stomach, it's going upwards, causing the belching. Or it could be nausea, or heartburn is another form of counterflow qi. So this is actually symbolic of gulping life, or trying to take more than necessary out of fear of not having enough. Once again, going back to that belly, anger, at being denied nourishment. So this is basically a lack of metabolic function leading to an accumulation of turbid dampness, and fluid leading to a toxin accumulation. So the lungs in Chinese medicine are not just used for breathing, but they're actually used to combine the product of air and dachi, and then guqi, which is the qi of the spleen, sending the nourishment of the food that's eaten up to the lungs. And these two qis combine to be sent out to the other organs to create different types of qi. So if the stomach and spleen is overburdened, this creates this toxic qi that then gets redistributed to all the other organs. creating other imbalances. So another cause of being overweight, or another pattern in Chinese medicine, is emotional rigidity and stagnation. So the liver in Chinese medicine oftentimes governs a lot of our emotional responses, as well as governs the free flow of qi in the body. When this qi is stagnating, it can produce anger, irritability, stress, or depression, basically overall emotional stagnation. So this in turn negatively affects the digestive system, as an excess in the wood element of the liver, gallbladder, which is associated with the wood element, which then harasses the earth element of the spleen and stomach. So this relationship can be thought of as like an overbearing grandparent who doesn't allow their grandchild to be who they are or to learn through their own natural processes. In Chinese medicine, this pattern is known as the wood element of the liver overacting the earth element of the spleen and stomach. So the treatment method is to move stagnant liver qi and to tonify or nourish the spleen and stomach channels, which we would do by needling certain points in the liver and stomach channels and prescribing a particular herbal formula to soothe the liver as well as to strengthen that stomach and spleen function. So the last pattern I'm going to speak about is a deficiency within the kidney, or an exhaustion of the vital life essence, which is going to prevent the body from having enough fire or yang energy to transform the fluids and the food. This can be caused by overindulgence in sex, long periods of overwork, or congenital or constitutional makeup, meaning that it's like inherent or genetic. So sex in moderation, adequate rest, as well as herbal formulas and acupuncture is one way to build back the kidney yang, and that would be the implicated treatment method. So the ultimate treatment method is basically to do a spiritual inventory of all the people that you're holding resentment towards and to do forgiveness work around that. So there's an ancient Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness known as Ho'oponopono. So Ho'oponopono is a mantra that you say that says, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. So each line has a symbolic representation as to the karmic implications behind how and why this practice works. So I'm sorry is part of the beginning of the healing process of taking the personal responsibility, both internally and externally, whether that person that you hurt you is thinking about you or not thinking about you, or is sorry or isn't sorry, doesn't matter. You're doing it for yourself, not them. And so this is you initiating that first step and taking personal responsibility for the own suffering in your life and your own personal trauma and hurt. So the second line, which can be thought of in another form, is not just please forgive me, but an understanding that you or I are not fully aware of what we're doing when we're hurting somebody. So you can say, please forgive me, for I/you know not what we do. Please forgive me, for I/you know not what we do. So just saying this is a form of prayer, which is going to send out a message to create a call of action within yourself and to those who you need to forgive. This invisible internal shift in vibration changes the vibration of others and how they're going to respond to you, which is encouraging the process of their own forgiveness towards you. Oftentimes people who do this practice will receive a message from the person that they're trying to forgive where they actually apologize. This doesn't always happen, but it's an interesting phenomenon to observe. Third line, I love you, is part of the returning to love and operating from love of where we all came from, of where we were, and where we're going to return anyway after this life. Therefore, it encourages us to remember our own divine nature and our own interconnectedness, that like we're all connected, and when we hurt one another, we're actually hurting ourselves. Fourth line is thank you, and that is basically a form of gratitude for the teachings and lessons that we learned through this negative or unpleasant experience. By ending this prayer in a place of gratitude, it's basically an automatic way of raising your vibration. So basically this is an appropriate line for ending the practice. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like these videos and you want to see more, please subscribe by clicking the box to the left of my head and the right of my head. Please share this video with a friend and like it. You can reach out to me through any of the links below. I'm on Facebook. You can subscribe to my newsletter on my website. to stay posted for more events, as well as get notifications of when I put out new videos. And it's been a pleasure making this video. Hopefully I'll have more time to do more videos like this. I'm going to be putting out a series of videos that are similar to this one, where I speak about different common ailments. If you have an ailment or an idea that you're curious about, please send me a message encouraging me to make a video about it, and I will try to make a video about it. Anyways, that's all I got. Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I'll be with you soon. Thank you. Peace.